Hi, today let's talk about the book The Goal by Eliyahu M. Goldratt and Jeff Cox. This book was written somewhere in 1984 and is still relevant till today. It basically deals with operations management. So, anyone who is a student of operations management or who is working in this field, this book is a gold mine, I'll say. Uh, the plot in this book is very simple. It's a manager who is trying to work through the processes. He's trying to fix the bottom line. He's trying to fix the wheel while the car is still running, basically. uh, that's the plot of the story. But in every point in the story, as he tries to fix a process, or if it whenever he's trying to fix a particular department, their policies, everything, there is a lesson to be learned, and the lesson is related to operations management. So I think there's also a book, an audio book, uh, on the same, and there's also, I think, a movie that is being made by the same name, The Goal. I'll try to put the links for both of this in the description, be it in the audiobook format or the book format or the movie. This content is worth reviewing. This content is worth being checked out. So let's talk about the theory of constraint. The author Eliyahu M. Goldratt, or Dr. Goldratt as he's known as the father of TOC, that is theory of constraint. He put together a 5-point plan on dealing with constraints, and he's put that at the end of the book over here. And let me read out the 5-point plan to you. Um, this is how you deal with a constraint, and how you optimize it. So number one, you identify the system's constraint. Number two, you decide how to exploit the system's constraint. Number three, you subordinate everything else to the above decisions. That is, you try to work at the speed of a bottleneck. So the book largely talks about bottlenecks and how to address them. Bottlenecks are anything wherein the process comes and stops. The limiting factor, or, like, bottleneck and constraints, these are something that is interchangeably used. Anything that's a limiting factor, basically. So subordinate everything else to the above decisions, that is, work at the speed of the bottleneck. Fourth step in the process is elevate the system's constraint, that is, increase the capacity of the constraint. And five, if in the previous steps a constraint has been broken, go back to step one, but do not allow inertia to cause a system constraint. So that is the 5-point plan that is put together. The entire book, you'll see, deals with certain concepts and principles. One of them is the chain metaphor, and he says that a system is only as strong as its weakest link. Try to think about it. It's also applicable in our personal lives. We are only as strong as the weakest link in our system is. He's trying to explain that using a example, and he says that the fact there is an ongoing issue in the factory, and he's kind of thinking about it, and he's taken his kids on a trek, and he sees that while all the kids are trekking, a few of them are doing well, a few of them are not, and the ones who are not doing well, the entire group has to suffer because of them. And that's how he kind of realizes that's the same kind of problem that he sees in the factory, and then he goes and fixes it. So he's tried to explain the chain metaphor using that example. Then he's also talked about throughput, operational expenses, and inventory. And he says that TOC, or the theory of constraint, measures success by increasing the throughput, that is, the money generated, while reducing the inventory and operational expenses. Then he talks about the non-physical constraints. So there could be company policies, or there could be the behavior of employees, or it could be how people work in isolation, and all of these things also somewhere limit the act like a constraint, and limit the productivity. Then he's also spoken about bottleneck management in general, and he says that the flow of the entire system should be dictated by the pace of the bottleneck. So these are key concepts that he's been addressing in this entire book over here. Like I said, the plot is very simple, but the book is very beautifully written. All of these concepts slowly weave into the story, and it's a 360 pages book, kind of mid-size font, but it is worth spending time reading uh, each of each of the chapters in details, because it has lot to tell you, and you have lot to absorb from it. Let me also now talk about the 10 around 9 to 10 lessons that I kind of learned from this book. They are either in form of statements that the author has made, or they are some of the lessons that are being shared at the end of the book, wherein the author is kind of reflecting on on the entire journey of that manager, and how he tried to fix everything. So some of them that I've jotted down are with me over here. Let's start. He says that a non-bottleneck is any resource whose capacity is greater than the demand placed on it. So while we are talking about constraints, we also need to define what a non-constraint is. So a non-constraint bottleneck is any resource whose capacity is greater than the demand placed on it. The slowest controls the speed, and putting him in the lead can manage the speed of the chain. Also true in our real life, right? An hour lost at the bottleneck is an hour lost for the entire system. That's true. Problems never work in isolation, they tend to affect the entire system. A balanced plant, this one, I found this concept to be uh, uh, a little different, and it's a really nice way the author has put it. He says that a balanced plant is a plant where the capacity of each and every resource is balanced exactly with the demand from the market. So very rarely do we take the demand of the market into consideration and then design the plant. But he says now balanced plant is a plant where the capacity of each and every resource is balanced exactly based on the demand from the market. um, then he talks about the book, and that's why the name of the book is The Goal. Somewhere in midst of the book, he says that the manager kind of realizes that you need to find a goal first, and then align all of your business activities based on it, because there's no point in just trying to fix separate departments and processes. You need to align all of that with respect to what your goal is. Then the goal can be sustenance, the goal can be improving the bottom line, the goal can be just selling some n number of units. But all of that, your activities will be finally dependent on the goal that you set. Then um, people work in isolation. That is, there is a small part of it that is dedicated to that, wherein he says that people are working in isolation, uh, and they are doing their best. uh, but if everyone has to move forward, and if the plant has to move forward, then people need to know about the final goal. So everyone needs to work in accordance with the goal. So if we have to move forward towards the goal, then everyone needs to jump on one single bandwagon. Then let people know what you're working on and give them hope. People like to contribute only if they know what the problem is. So this is another part that is being discussed in this book. And then he's trying to give examples wherein there's a character called Bob, how he tries to arrange an MC from a friend so that he can support the an extend machine and expedite the process. And then there is another character called Haley, who comes up with an idea to save 2 hours by batch processing certain units. And again, there are several such examples. Again, each of the concept is explained very beautifully, because with the help of a character in the story or through the story itself. Another important concept is that a non-bottleneck feeds into a bottleneck. um, the author at one point has said that not everyone has to be working. It's like, he says that it's like putting a button, trying to switch on a button, and the entire place is lit up. uh, Unnecessary. Not everyone has to be working. A non-bottleneck feeds into a bottleneck. So these are some of the key lessons from the book. And in the first there are around 40 chapters in this book. Around the first 30 chapters kind of talk about how he's trying to, how he, as in the manager, the main character of this book, he's trying to fix the plant, the process, the departments, everything, trying to improve the bottom, etc. Then at one point in time they start getting orders and things really pick up. Then till that point in time there is a certain strategy that they follow, and then after that, in the last 10 chapters, the strategy changes, because now the whole idea, the whole goal is sustenance. So be it at the first 30 chapters or in the last 10, the whole emphasis is on continuous improvement. The strategy changes time to time, but the emphasis is on continuous improvement, and that is the reason uh, the title is the goal, process of ongoing improvement. So yes, it's a must read. It has a lot to offer, and you should definitely spend time on each of the chapter. I have myself revisited the book almost twice. It is so beautifully written, and it does claim that over 10 million copies were being sold, so I'm sure they were. So do read it. It's a nice book. Thank you.